up until like basically right now, I've gotten a chance to listen to a whole bunch of different like audio manufacturers, from NAD to Cambridge, Arkham, Yamaha, Onkyo. But one had always sort of eluded me, maybe by right of price or just mostly availability, and it's been Rotel. So I'm really happy to be able to actually give this one a go and review it and actually find out for myself what the hype's all about. This is the flagship of the Rotel's A series, and along with some other amplifiers from their lineup, they've undergone some significant upgrades that have been sort of trickled down from their Michi series. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've had this for about 2 months. I plugged into my favorite speakers, or the only pair of speakers that I brought up with me, B&W 685s, the S1. We're in between houses, so I just essentially just brought up my favorite hi-fi equipment that I wouldn't mind getting a little bit scuffed up just by moving back and forth. So yeah, my favorite B&W is my trusty NAD amplifier. This one got shipped here, and yeah, so I just use those speakers to set it up. Setting this up was really easy. I mean, you just plug in the power cord, plug in your speaker cables, and kind of Bob's your uncle. I did most of my listening via the supplied USB cable into the Rotel. I listened via my MacBook Pro into a USB-C cable, which ran into my Dell monitor, which acts as a USB-C hub, and then out via that cable into this guy. The Bluetooth connection is rock solid. I connected via my iPhone 12. Once I was connected, it was easy to just keep connecting to it. I didn't notice too much of a drop-off as far as sound quality switching between USB and iPhone, and that was primarily because I wasn't using the highest resolution of audio file. I should also note that I didn't do any high-res music streaming. The reason for this was, well, we're on like country Wi-Fi, and country Wi-Fi entails satellite internet signals, and it's slow, meaning like if I'm trying to listen to or stream music and someone tries to watch Netflix, one of those doesn't work. It's available in silver and black. I'm a little partial to silver, and it might be because growing up, it was just strictly black components available everywhere. Like you'd see stuff in magazines where it's available in silver, or in like the UK or elsewhere other than Toronto. But in Toronto, it was always black, mostly plastic, and yeah, the silver just, I'm partial. As for the design, it's kind of like a classic modern. I wouldn't say full on like, it's kind of like what I would have wanted to buy maybe 10 years back. Like it has a nice clean aesthetic, it looks really nice. One downside I would say is probably the screen. Like, given how nice and clean and modern this is, this kind of looks like a clock radio, and that's kind of a letdown. I mean, I feel like this section could have been so much better, and it makes me wonder whether or not there's going to be a bit of a cosmetic refresh to the case design, because the Michi series, from which this gets trickled down tech from, just looks outstanding. It's black, it's chunky, it's minimal, it looks super modern and clean, and I wonder if any of that is going to be kind of like influential in maybe doing a chassis redesign for this. I think an updated modern design of the chassis would be really cool. I mean, if they stuck with this classic sort of look, it would be nice if they just updated this. Like, I mean, like the clock radio panel is pretty dated, and like the black sort of bezels on either side of it, like it doesn't look, it's not befitting of the price tag of this. The other thing I noticed is this remote kind of feels like an afterthought. Compared to this, like this is just like a plastic kind of throwaway black remote. It's not backlit. The design is not very inspiring. I just really didn't use this. Like I used it for volume and that's it. You know, I didn't really mess with the bass or treble after I kind of set it and forget it here. Yeah, I wish it was nicer to look at, and I wish it matched up with this better. The chassis, I'm gonna backtrack a bit, but like the chassis, it's like a nice slimline design. It looks really cool, minus the clock radio part. But like it actually kind of belies how much power is actually coming out of this thing. Like, to be a little bit childish, it sort of sounds like my NAD and my Cambridge had a really muscular baby. Like it's big, it's powerful, the soundstage is nice and wide open, yet it's refined and you get all the details you want. I sort of regret that I didn't get to hear this in our new home, which has, my listening area is going to be quite a bit bigger than any of the listening areas in this cottage that we're living in right now. And yeah, it's kind of like, ooh, I wish I had that open space to really run this through and test out a whole bunch of different speakers. Because I already know my Bowers Wilkins sound really good, and I kind of like them with almost every amp that I've paired them with. Going from like my NAD, which is like kind of like, I think it's like a 50 watt per channel amp, and then going into this, yeah, it's 80 versus 50, and it just kind of like, there's more oomph in the sound, like a bit more weight, the soundstage opened up a little bit more, and I would have liked to be able to take this to like less or more unruly levels to really hear the difference between this and the NAD. I just didn't have the space for it, so I really couldn't do a great like sort of A/B test between them. I imagine that this would sound good with a wide variety of budget-friendly stand mount and floor standing speakers. Of note, I mean off the top of my head, would be the Q Acoustics 3050i floor standers, the 3030i bookshelf speakers. They're a bit bigger. I think they would complement these really well. I haven't heard the new generation of B&W's 600 series, so I can't comment on those. But Monitor Audio's Bronze series and the Silver series would probably pair well. The Silver series, like the smaller floor standers or like the bookshelves, would be perfect for this. I don't personally suffer from upgrade-itis. Like, I hang on to all my tech for a really long time. I hang on to my laptops for a long time. I hang on to speakers and amps for a long time. And something like this feels like it's going to age really well. Maybe the design will get dated over time, but like, so long as like you have no sort of electrical issues or anything like that, I can see this lasting your system for a long time. Yeah, that's a value for money then, definitely. Look, any criticisms aside, if this was sitting on my shelf at home, I would be more than happy, and I probably wouldn't buy another integrated for another decade. Like, it's well spec'd, it's got more than enough power for my purposes, and I love the way it sounds.